something else. It's specifically for that. Now, they would expect that trainer or OT or whoever's doing that work with you, they would expect them to build that capacity in you, and then once they've built it, they would stop funding it. So they wouldn't keep funding it year after year after year. Okay, it has to achieve something. For example, if you ask for speech therapy as it's a capacity building type stream, they would expect there to be a result. If there was no result, they'll stop funding it. If it doesn't work, they're not going to keep funding it. It's got to show that it's working. So when we're talking about capacity building, that's what's important to understand this, and this is why this is in red. Is if you're talking to the planner and they're talking about a funding as a capacity building type conversation, you need to be really clear it's something you're happy to let go. If they were talking about capacity building with transport, you'd be worried. They shouldn't be. But, I mean, things like speech, OT, if you need an ongoing OT for the rest of your life, you argue for that as a core support need. You're not trying to build capacity. Unless you were doing an exercise program and it was something to protect other parts of the body.
It's just to maintain, so you can just stay the
That's
same
right,
and
maintain.
Improve, because...
That's a good word to use. Maintenance, core. Okay, so if it's something is a support that you need on a maintenance level to maintain that level of functioning, if you lost that support, that you went backwards and you required more support, that doesn't make sense to the NDIS. So if you need that support to be there, ongoing, enduring, to maintain a level of functioning, then that's fine. That's a core support need. It's just the way they talk about the money, the way the funding stream itself. That bottom one, capital, and I love the way they use these words. I mean, capital's just equipment. That's all it is. They're talking about wheelchairs, shower chairs, home modifications, car modifications, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they just have these words for, it's just, but I mean, if you think about core supports, you can think of recurrent funding, and capacity building, you can think of non-recurrent funding. So either way, that goes away, because it'll be, you either achieve it and you don't need it anymore, or it didn't do any good and they're not going to give it to you. You need to try something different.
But if you do the capacity building, say speech therapy, and you do an 8-week course, and they can see, yes, when you started and you improved,
yep.
But then you can continue at home doing the exercises and things like that, but you might need to go back and have another in a year's time, another refresher. So is that...
That's a core.
Core.
You'd argue that. And your speech, you'd be pretty good at that. Your speech pathologist should be giving you that report as well. So the OTs, the allied health professionals that you deal with, they should give you a report, which you would use with the NDIA when you talk to them and you do your review. And say, look, this is working really well, we want to continue it. Or we've got to a point where it's plateaued, but they may need some maintenance. So then they would talk about it in that sense in your review. Go, okay, well, that's fine, we'll add that to your plan on a more permanent basis.
Right.
It's a conversation. Don't lose sight of that. You know, you're talking to people here. You're going to get good planners. You're going to get bad planners. You get good ones on bad days and bad ones on good days. I mean, these are people we're talking about. If you get a planner that you feel doesn't understand your needs, then ask for another planner. You're in your rights to ask for another planner. If you feel they don't understand you or not communicating well, if you're not comfortable with them, just ask for a different planner. That's fine. You're not disadvantaged by that.
So with the funding, it's just one funding. They don't say, oh, well, so much for core, so much for capital, so much for equipment.
It'll be broken down. Yeah, it'll be broken down in your plan. When you get your plan, you'll get a total amount.
Yeah, you'll get a total amount,
yeah,
but
sure.
if you use most of it for core and capital, is that's okay?
Yeah. I mean, some people, if you take a young man with ASD on the spectrum of Asperger's, like really high functioning, so, want a better word, he's got barriers, but they function quite well. Most of what they'll be doing is capacity building.
Yes.
They wouldn't even have a core support need. But then you've got people who've got really high support needs. That would most of their funding's in core. So yeah, you'll have it broken up into different streams. But I mean, it just means that you'll see it in your plan one year, and then once you've reached it, it goes away. But your core supports would always be enduring. You may need more of them from year to year, and this is the nice thing: as your needs change, so does the funding change. You simply tell them what's changed. Do you need more support? That is added into your plan. So it's really good. Like it's flexible. You're not just getting one assessment and that's all you're going to get for the rest of your life. It changes with your changing needs. Really important with FA, really important, and MS, really important. The capital is a one-off, so that's they give it for that intended purpose. So if it's for a new chair, you'd have to buy a new chair. If it was a power chair and it was over $5,000, no, it's over 10 now, but you have to get 2 quotes. So they've changed it. So you get 2 quotes, they'll pick the cheapest quote, like any insurance company.